Hi, Weirdos! Welcome to Keep It Weird, the podcast for all things strange and unusual, blood-curdling and spine-tingling, overcast and overstimulated, and everything in between. Every time we get together, we have to talk about something weird. And this week is certainly no exception. It is still October in our hearts and in our souls. So to get us into the spooky state of mind, it's time for some brand new, real-life, scary stories. Dun 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 dun. Oh, 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 oh. Like the Goosebumps dog. Stories that have been sent in by you, the listener, and some of our friends on the internet, aka Reddit, my favorite website ever. I'm not even an incel somehow. This week, we have ghosts, premonitions, interdimensional beings, synchronicities, and even some imaginary friends that turn out to be more than meets the eye. As usual, there will be sound effects and music, so try not to freak out when you hear it. And there's always a sound effect and music-free version of the episode for free on our Patreon for those sensitive weirdos out there who get overstimulated, like we do. But it's time. So make sure all those doors are locked. Check the closet and under your bed, just for good measure, and dim those lights so we can tell you some spooky stories. My name is Ashley, and this is my co-host, Lauren.
Hi, weirdos.
She's wearing her hair down more often because so many people told her she's beautiful.
Okay, first of all, that was the cutest song I ever did hear. But truly, it has this is not a toot my own horn. If anyone has listened to this podcast, Lauren Ogle is one of the most
You know I don't toot my own horn.
insecure person on this planet. But I was told, especially in Centralia, which is why I love the Midwest, so many people, even randos, would just be like, I love your hair. Like, why don't you ever wear your hair down? Only see you with your hair up. Why aren't you doing it? We are playing the banjo, and we're wearing our hair down more often. I think
It's
I
gorgeous.
just needed it to get longer,
It's
truly.
gorgeous.
Like, I loved my bob stage, but then I gained some weight, and again, got weird about it, and was like, I think I can only have a bob when I'm not at a certain weight, which is my own issue. I'm working through it.
Girl, I'm with you.
But your shortcut is everything to me.
Oh, I just got it cut.
What? I was about to ask because I was like, it looks similar to what's been going on, but it looks more like wolf cutty.
It is a little wolf cutty. I got my bangs a little shorter than usual.
That's what I was wondering. Ashley's looking like a queen.
Yeah, I actually finally went in and had a professional give me a little trimsy. If I could afford to get my hair cut more often, I would. I just it's not that I can't afford it. It's just that if I could do it at home and save $100, like I'm going to choose that option.
I have been cutting my hair since that first bob that I got. A professional did it because you
can't cut your own bob. Yeah.
And I've been cutting it ever since. And I just watch a YouTube video.
Yep.
I want to give money to the professionals. I do. I hate taking that away, especially I have two best friends who are hairstylists in the Midwest, but I'm like, well, I could afford you. Yeah. I can't afford LA hairstylists because a haircut for a woman is $100 minimum, even at the cheapest, dirt hole in the wall salons. $100 minimum. And then if it's hey, could you do one layer in the front?
They're like, sure, for an extra 30.
Okay, and that hops me up to 175. Never mind. Alex's haircut went up to 45 from 25, and hey, that's a jump. But I was just
it's a huge jump. I get it.
Shut up.
But at the same time, shut the fuck up.
Get out, you dirty rat.
Shut up.
Okay, hello. Happy
Hi,
November.
guys. Hello. Has anyone else gotten a haircut recently? How'd it go?
Are you mad at the male species also?
Are you angry at men all the time?
All the time, yes.
Well, before we get into our scary stories, we have 2 more episodes this year.
Oh my gosh.
Not including the 4 additional bonus episodes you get that are exclusive to our patrons, which if you aren't a patron, go there now, www.patreon.com/keepitweirdpodcast, and you'll get 4 extra episodes that other people don't get, and they're really good. December 12th, we're releasing another ladies episode with our good friend Amy Hanselman.
Hey, lady.
And then on December 26th, our official Yuletide episode will be released, and we will be joined once again by our resident witch, Laura LaRue. But guys, send in any topics, games, questions, etc., etc. if you want to hear anything specific in our Christmas Yuletime fun party episode, because we're just, you know, gonna wing it. But if you guys have any requests, we're taking them.
Phone lines are open. Call in.
Phone lines are open. We don't have a phone number anymore because you guys never called it. So
that was such a good idea.
It was so much fun to put our phone number in every episode for half a season.
Y'all are rude. Y'all are rude.
And we got 1 voicemail, so
yeah.
Hate y'all for it. Anyways, guys.
Okay, you said you want to kick us off with something like
I'm going first.
Horrible. You didn't even say horrible. You just said mind-blowing. And
it's just crazy.
I don't know if I'm ready, but I'm going to try.
You're not ready for this.
Okay, great.
My first story is very special because this show's made of super synchronicities. Usually on these ghost stories episodes, listener ghost stories, we don't have segments, but
you have to with this.
We have to. This is too crazy to believe. It deserves a special little jingle. Just wait till you hear where this goes. So first off, the original tale. This story comes to us from Reddit user LeakyAssFire. And
sorry, we have to take a beat. We have to take a beat. Take a moment for that.
Why? What do you need?
Now I'm ready.
LeakyAssFire and I had a real good chuckle at the fact that I'm going to have to say that out loud in the episode.
I like that they allowed it.
I will refer to them as LAF for short. We'll say laugh. Just so that we don't have to giggle at LeakyAssFire every time I say it.
Yeah, because we got to focus on the story.
We have to focus on the story. We can't focus on LeakyAssFire, even though it is a very, 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 very good Reddit username. Good job. Laugh wanted us to give a huge shout out to Brewability in Engelwood, Colorado. Get this, okay? Not only is it a brewery, which we all know,
ready,
has my full attention. Love beer. And a restaurant with the most delicious looking thin crust pizzas I've ever seen. But they also employ adults with disabilities to brew their beer and serve their pizzas.
Oh, I love that. That is beautiful.
It's amazing. And it's not just accessible for the employees, but for the patrons. They provide noise canceling headphones. There's quiet spaces. There are plate guards. There's weighted silverware for people who need more motor control while eating. There are braille menus. This place is fucking awesome. You should definitely check them out.
Okay, well, I'm moving to Engelwood, Colorado.
Moving to Colorado. If you live in Colorado, obviously go to Brewability, but if not, just check out their websites, brewability.com. It seems awesome. I looked on there to see if there's a place to donate to them, and there's not, but I'm sure that there's some way that we can support Brewability because they just seem...
Tell Laugh that you need to bring it up.
Laugh, you need to go in and ask them how we donate to their business. Okay, here we go. Laugh says... This was April of 2015. I was up late working with a couple other teams for a large implementation. I work in IT. And I decided to take the dog out and grab a smoke while the other team finished up their work. It was about 3 a.m., so I didn't bother with a leash, and I just headed downstairs and outside. Once we got out, my dog went over to the grassy area in front of my apartment building and started her 5-minute ritual of picking the perfect pooping spot. Yeah, we all know. I grabbed a spot on the stairs and I lit a cigarette. The grassy area my dog was scouring was very well lit, but the rest of the neighborhood was nearly pitch black due to the lack of streetlights, so it almost looked like a wall of darkness starting just at the street. Anyways, I'm sitting there watching my dog in the light when out of nowhere, I see something move out of the street and onto the grass and behind a tree about 30 yards in front of my dog. She had her back to it, so she didn't see it, and whatever it was didn't make any sort of sound when it moved, so I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me, and it was probably a good time to just get back inside and check in with work. I got up off my butt and took a few steps in my dog's direction. It was about then that my dog went on the defensive. Her hackles came out, she started growling, and her body went completely stiff. When I caught up to her, she was locked in on a tree in front of her, just staring and growling. It was the same tree that I had seen, whatever I had seen, move behind it. I tried to get her to follow me, or respond to me, or even look at me, but she was all about that tree. At this point, I figured she was just spazzing out at some perceived non-threat, something she had done before when she came across a new sign at the park that hadn't been there before. This time, though, I wasn't interested in her taking another 5 minutes to figure out what it was before trying to make friends with it, because I knew she first had to bark at it aggressively for a minute or two, and I didn't really want to wake up the entire neighborhood. But as it goes from here, I remember leaning down on one knee to talk to her in a soft voice, and as I got on one knee, I looked over at the tree, and I saw it. It was standing in front of the tree. It stood about 10 feet tall. It resembled a man in figure, but it was too skinny to host any sort of major organs. It was black from head to toe, and I don't know if it's the way the light was catching it, but it looked almost like a 2D stick figure that had jumped off a notebook page or something. No discernible features whatsoever. I froze. My dog got real quiet, and for a second or two, it was just the three of us staring at each other. Then it took off, running down the street, or more like glided down the street in the oddest fashion, almost like the way a cross-country skier moves. It was odd and hard to describe. It didn't make a sound as it ran, and a moment later, it disappeared into the dark.
What? I would never go outside again. First of all.
Guess who's agoraphobic now? Guess who's agoraphobic now? It's me.
We don't go outside. Don't go outside. Yeah, that's horrible. How did you even survive, Laugh? How are you still a person?
How are you still a person, Laugh? What the fuck was that? What was that?
Okay, but you said there was follow-up, right?
Sure is. Now that's already a bonkers bananas story.
Hate it. Yeah, hate it.
But after we start talking a bit, Laugh drops this bomb on me. Laugh said, I suffer from Meniere's disease. It's an infliction of the middle ear, in my case, the left ear. There's no cause for it and no known cure for it. Symptoms include tinnitus, hearing loss, a feeling of fullness in the affected ear, and vertigo attacks that can last anywhere from an hour to a day. I've been living with it since 1998 after a car accident seemed to activate it. The vertigo is the worst of it, and from the fall of 1998 through the spring of 2000, I suffered over 100 vertigo attacks before getting a proper diagnosis and a steroid shot through my eardrum. The procedure silenced the vertigo but left the other symptoms and cost me over 70% of hearing in my left ear. I've gotten along fine since 2000 and I continue to do so, but that night, right as I kneeled next to my dog, I felt something I had not felt in over 15 years. A sharp white-hot pain right above my left eye. That sensation has always been my body's way of telling me a vertigo attack was coming within the next minute. After that, I looked up, and that's when I saw it standing in front of the tree. The vertigo hit me right after that, and I had to fight to stay upright on my knee during our little standoff, but that was the extent of it. As soon as it turned tail and ran, the vertigo started to fade, and after a minute, I was completely back to normal. It was the shortest attack I had ever had, but it was the Meniere's that had resurfaced that night. And there's not a bone in my body that doesn't think the stick man had something to do with triggering it. For what purpose remains to be seen. communication, maybe some sort of energy it emits that Meniere's is sensitive to. Was it attracted to the Meniere's? I don't know, but it does occupy my thoughts at times when my tinnitus is bad. And then he said, anyway, feel free to include that if you'd like. I will include that. Thank you very much.
Because you is me and me is you and ear is bad. Anyone who listens to this show, like anyone who's listening to this episode right now, knows what the fuck is going on with Ashley's ear. That is crazy to have somebody validate and like familiarize themselves with like everything you have had going on. I feel like every symptom is perfectly that.
Yeah.
And it's also that craziness you've been feeling of like, and no one can fix it. And it's like activated by, I don't know, random things.
And I literally, when he told me that, I was like, Laugh, you're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you, but I think you might have diagnosed me.
I know. Can you bring this story to the doctor?
Truly.
Be like, look, this seems crazy, but listen to this guy.
Well, and what's even crazier, I had a follow-up scheduled with the neurologist for the literal day that Laugh and I had this conversation that I had canceled the day before out of frustration and just like, I just didn't want to be billed any more money. Like Christmas is coming up. I was like, I'm not going to pay more money to see this doctor again who isn't going to do anything for me. I'm done for the year. I'll start again next year when I live closer to, I don't know, a better hospital. Like I'm done. And I was so frustrated. I canceled the appointment. And literally the next day, I get this information. And I also looked into Meniere's disease. And guess what it has a connection with?
What?
Anxiety disorders.
Oh my gosh, Ashley.
You kidding me?
You kidding everybody? Okay, so this was so meant to be. It was like you canceled your appointment. The universe was like, so I hear you.
I hear you.
Here you go.
I mean, the amount of things that had to happen. One, I had to be looking for spooky stories to tell for this episode. Two, I had to find this story that is not about an ear. It's about a stick man. I had to reach out to this person. This person had to decide to disclose more information about themselves, all to figure out, oh,
I don't mean this in a mean way, like, but like for no reason. It was like, hey, like this also happened, like where this was activated, and it's like, what?
Also, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I have this ear thing. Well, I have this ear thing.
Ashley.
Holy shit. And I also fuck around a lot with the supernatural. So maybe
that's what I'm saying.
There's a connection.
You fucked around and found out, both of you, with Meniere's disease.
What are you gonna do?
Diagnosis. Murder.
Intrigue.
Diagnosis. Meniere's.
Yeah.
I can't. I love this for you, but also hate it because I don't like it. Also sounds like stuff can kind of be done.
There's nothing that can be done. And I'm also glad that this person told me that Laugh said, like, you know, I did get the supposed treatment for it, which is steroid shot to the ear, but unfortunately I couldn't hear out of my ear. And then it's like, well, I don't want to lose more hearing. Like, I don't want things to get worse.
Correct.
I would just like things to get better. And if you're telling me things can't get better and this is just what I have to live with, okay, but I don't want to make it worse.
I get that.
Well, at least I have a name. I have something that I can bring to the next doctor and be like, hey,
yeah,
this was suggested to me and it fits everything I've got. Do you think that this could be it? And then maybe get up. But anyways, one more quick shout out. Laugh's dog's name is Nira, and she is a black lab. She's 13 years old, and apparently she still tries to drag Laugh out of bed sometimes to go look for that thing outside. Good dog, Nira. Good girl.
Good dog.
Good girl.
Good girl. You such a good girl. You get your treat.
I'd like to think that my cats would also be that, like, protective of me.
Well,
but I'm going to say they are not.
I'm going to say, from what I know throughout history of cats, Hell no. They're going to look at you and be like, fend for yourself, bitch.
You deal with this.
Sorry about your ear and the stick, man, but...
My cats barely deal with the mice that get into our house.
And that's like what they're for. I mean,
That's
it's
what
not
they're
what they're for. We
for.
love their snuggles, but that's like their thing.
No, but like, here's the thing. They don't pay rent. They don't pay utilities. They don't pay for their own food. So their job is when a bug or a mouse get in this house,
Murder it.
you kill it. That's our agreement. That's our handshake agreement.
That is how you pay rent.
And they are, they're not great at that part, but that's fine. Freeloaders.
Those stinking freeloaders.
So, Reddit user LeakyAssFire, thank you so much for allowing us to tell your scary story and possibly giving me a diagnosis that doctors haven't been able to give me for an entire year.
Truly. Wowza. But also, I hate the stick man.
Also, if I ever see that stick man, I'm taking my own eyes out.
Eyes and ears, just take them all.
Take them one ear down. You just got to take one more ear and two more eyes,
right.
and we're good.
Easy job. All right. I am going to move into an email that I received from a listener who wants to stay anonymous. I wish I could come up with a fun name on the spot that is similar to LeakyAssFire, but we're just going to say anonymous instead.
Okay.
Their subject said, 3 hours gone and the sound I can't unhear.
Oh boy.
They say, hi, weirdos. Back in 2018, I was driving home from a friend's house just outside of Flagstaff. My GPS said that I would get home around 12:40 a.m. The sky was super clear, tons of stars. I had the windows cracked because it was just one of those cool, beautiful nights. Then about 15 minutes into the drive, this deep humming sound starts. It's not loud, but it's more like a vibration that you could feel in your teeth. I checked the radio, the engine, everything, all normal. I had stopped the car a few times along the drive to keep checking because I did not know what was going on. And then I look up and it seemed like the stars had disappeared, like somebody flipped a switch, turned the light on or off. 1 second the sky was full, I was enjoying the beautiful night sky, and then it just seemed like it was pitch black above me. So I slow down. Once again, heart is racing at this point, and then the humming gets even louder. Then, the next thing I remember is sitting in a gas station parking lot in Winslow, which is outside of Flagstaff. My car was parked neatly into a parking spot, engine was off, keys were sitting in my cup holder. It seemed like I had been there for a while. I look at the clock, it is 3:11 a.m. I had absolutely no memory of driving to Winslow, or this gas station, of course. And here's the kicker. Winslow is 42 minutes in the opposite direction of my house. My phone is dead. My watch had stopped, but luckily the car clock was still working. My watch still said 12:58 a.m. My shirt had a small rip right by the collar that had not been there before, and there were a couple of dirt marks or maybe grease stains close to the chest of my shirt that I don't remember being there before. However, I am not 100% certain that they were not from dinner or whatever had happened that day, so just have to include that. The humming sound is something that I still hear maybe once or twice a year for a split second. It's the weirdest thing. I hear it, it brings me back to that night, it's this fleeting moment, scares the shit out of me, and then it's gone. Also, for 2 months after this event happened, I was having the same dream, maybe 2 or 3 times per month for like 2 months. And I think it was a dream, but it felt so real that it will stick with me for the rest of my life. I was lying on a cold metal table and something was talking to me in a way that sounded like chimes underwater.
Well,
I'm not sure how else to describe it, but that is what I have come up with. Chimes, bells underwater. I try not to think about it too hard because this dream terrifies me so much in a way that I cannot even begin to explain, but luckily after those first initial months, I did not have the dream again. I still remember the sound perfectly, the same way that I will never forget that humming tone, and that's why it strikes me so much every time it pops into my head. So anyway, I write in to say if anyone has had something similar happen, or if the two of you have, please tell me that I'm not alone. I love listening to your alien stories. It feels similar to this, but at the same time, I don't want to believe this could potentially be real. Keep it weird, ladies. Anonymous.
Well, Anonymous, I hate to tell you this. You were abducted by aliens.
You 1000% were.
1,000%.
The lost time.
You know what's funny though? All these lost time stories where it's like I lost this time and I ended up like where I wasn't before and like things were different. I had this happen to me. If you go back, I've had an experience where
Yes.
driving my car shut down. I had missing time and I missed like, I don't know, maybe like 12, 13 minutes, maybe 15. But I just think it's so funny that like they abducted me and they were like, never mind.
Because other stories, people are like, it was 2
Hours I was gone and I was on a table. I just feel like they abducted me and they were like, absolutely not. We can't handle this.
Girl, put her back.
The whole time I was up there, I was like, what's this do? What's this button do? Where do you guys come from? Do you abduct people around here all the time? Like, or
You bring out like an audio recording device. You're like, could I talk to you
could
for
I
just
actually
a
interview
moment?
you really quick? I have a lot of questions. First of all, how dare you? Second of all,
What's up? What you doing out here?
Yeah, so I have had this happen to me. However, they weren't interested.
Yes, that's why I always bring these up to you when I get that, which is rare. Like, this is only like my
Dude.
second time with a lost time story. I feel like Ashley always gets like the fun alien stories, and now they're starting to come across my lap. So basically, this is a message to
Send
all
it
you
in.
weirdos to keep doing it because I love it, and you know I'll be the one to shout it's definitely aliens with absolutely no research behind it. But in this case, truly, I am like, your shirt was ripped. Over 2 hours had passed. Why were you at that gas station in Winslow? What's going on, bro? What's that humming sound? Why were your teeth vibrating?
The humming sound to me makes me think of the is it ultrasonic? Or remember we talked about it when we talked about the Dyatlov Pass.
Yes, it's coming back to me.
Yeah, ultrasonic sound. It's low, like below the tone that we can hear with our ears, but we can feel it. It makes us feel weird. And it can kind of cause us to like be disoriented. And I wonder if that's a way, something that they use in order to start the process of sort of knocking us out and taking us. But this is not unheard of. A lot of people who have had missing time, especially on the road, get put back incorrectly. Like sometimes it'll be like two people together, and when they come to, the person who was driving is now in the passenger seat and the person who's in the passenger seat is now in the driver's seat. Or people will come to and their shirt will be on backwards.
I've heard like the on backwards inside out.
Yeah, so like sometimes putting people back, it seems like isn't as easy as you think.
It's a little messy sometimes.
You gotta pay attention. Here's the thing: you could tell when like a professional alien did the abducting and when a newbie did the abducting.
This person seems like they had been like trained person. This whatever it is has been like trained for a couple months, like not a noob, because the shirt was on right side out and only like a tiny rip by the collar. This alien, if we're going with that, was
We are
on their way, not a pro, not a noob, learning. Because like the little like cup holder, like the keys like tucked neatly, it was sort of like, oh, they like wanted to freak you out a little bit, it almost seemed like, but still like got you safely.
Yeah, to where you were going.
Yes, it was like, I know it's a little out of the way. I'm sorry.
Well, and especially when you hear about some people who are like, we were driving and da 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 da, and then when we came to, we were in the middle of a cornfield, and it's like, I'd be so pissed.
I know, like the fuck.
If my truck got planted in the middle of a cornfield that I had to drive my ass out of.
Do better.
Do better, aliens. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, you got abducted, but hey, it happens to a lot of us. And
you and Ashley both, and you were kept longer than her, so thank you for not bothering them.
You clearly didn't annoy them into taking you back 15 minutes later.
It seems like this listener is like slightly new to our podcast, because, and like that was said in our back and forth a little bit, but also I love the like Has anybody else heard of this?
Oh, girl.
I know you said you would listen to like a couple of our aliens episodes, but like A, we have so many. We talk about them constantly, and B, this has happened to Ashley. This has happened to other listeners who have written in. It's happened like in all these stories that we read. So you are so very not alone.
You ain't alone.
I know this was scary.
Yeah.
I know this was scary for you, but you are so not alone.
Mm-mm.
And it does sound like you were abducted.
It does sound like you were abducted a little bit. But it's okay. You're safe. You're fine. And
You're safe and sound.
you know what? Maybe when they come back to Earth, maybe when they announce themselves, you'll be, you'll have a special position on their council or some shit. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that they like marked me and they were like, yeah, when we come back, she's going to be a good one to hire. I love job opportunities. And
I am looking for a career change, and if you could just
I'm looking for a career change. So
if you could come back and find me.
call me when you're back.
Or, I don't know, you were only gone for the 12 minutes.
Yeah, I really don't think they marked me for shit.
You may have been marked as like, ignore
this one. She's a handful.
She's asking a lot of questions.
Yeah, I'll find the exact episode where I tell the full story of my abduction, and I'll make sure to get it to you to send over to Anonymous so that they can hear my tale, which is not nearly as harrowing as theirs, because it was 10 minutes long.
No, but still very much harrowing. I still, like, the first time you told it, I was like, Ashley, what?
Yeah, it's still quite scary, but
Anywhoozle,
I actually have an anonymous storyteller as well. This storyteller remaining anonymous, and who am I to deny them their anonymity? This is definitely very similar to other stories that we have shared before, but I think it's just the perfect example of something that we discussed in our live show recording, the residual haunting, the time slip.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a really fun one to include. So, without further ado, Anonymous says, this happened when I was younger, but my dad saw it as well. And we still both talk about it today, as it was really the only thing either of us has experienced as paranormal in our lives. I was in 5th or 6th grade, and we had taken an overnight field trip to Colonial Williamsburg, a kind of historic town thing where the whole American colonial era town is set up. There are blacksmiths, bakers, whatnot.
Been there, love it.
Love it. Churning butter. I get it. It's my favorite thing.
Here for it.
Getting back to the point, though, we were riding in the tour bus into town, and we were maybe a block or two away when we saw a reenactment of a hanging going on at a gallows that were set up in town. There was a handful of period-appropriately dressed folks gathered around, and high up hanging on a noose was another actor with a white sheet or a bag obscuring his face. It definitely was not a dummy, because we could see the guy squirming and struggling on the rope. His legs were tied at the ankles and they were kicking, his arms were jerking, they were tied behind his back, and we couldn't see any kind of harness or anything holding him up. It looked like he was actually being hung. And it was wild to see that in a place that's mostly set up for, like, field trips. It was brutal.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
And we were curious immediately about how they set up a safe hanging like that. So my dad, on the bus, right as we passed it, asked the tour guide what kind of harness or safety setup they had for the guy being hung. And the tour guide just kind of looked at him oddly and was like, we don't do hanging reenactments. The gallows are just for display. And as soon as he said that, I got one of those spooked chills that runs up your back and down your arms, and I looked through the bus's rear window towards the gallows that we had just passed, and it was totally deserted. There was not a single person there. There were no observers. There was no struggling hangman. There was not even a rope. And my dad said he experienced the same thing.
No.
And to this day, I, as well as my dad, swear up and down we saw a man being hung and a group of people gathered around watching it. But when we looked back, it was gone.
Whoa. Dark.
Said I'm not a big believer in ghosts or the supernatural, but that experience has definitely stuck with me for decades.
I mean, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I would never, ever forget about that.
Never. Amen, brother. There's no way I'm forgetting seeing that.
I loved my time there, like Colonial Williamsburg. It was so
So
fun to
cool.
walk through there and see, and like I all of the actors are so wonderful. They have it set up in such a perfect way. But if I had seen that, I would have absolutely lost my mind. That is terrifying, especially yeah, that spine tingling moment of like we've never done that. Like, can you imagine? We'd traumatize people, and it's like, yeah, you traumatize.
Yeah, you would traumatize people, actually. I'm a little traumatized myself.
Tis I. Oh my god. You and Papa.
Thank God your dad saw it too, because that would be something that I'd be like, well, am I insane? Or, and this is a really popular experience people have when exploring places like old colonial towns or battlegrounds, especially. Like, I know, like the Civil War battles and Revolutionary War battle grounds, places where some crazy ass shit went down at one point in time
Mm-hmm.
that seems to have imprinted itself on the physical space. Absolutely crazy. Can't believe you caught it. Can't believe you saw it. So glad your dad saw it too. So that you guys could both be like, "Hey, you saw that, right?" Yeah. Okay, great.
To have another person see something like just makes all the difference because otherwise you do just sound like a crazy person, unfortunately. I know Ashley knows this better than anyone. I mean, I believe and like trust everything that you say and like cry at the horrible ghost stories that you've told me over your life because I'm like, oh my gosh, how'd you experience this? But I know you've probably had people look at you cross-eyed and be like, you okay?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't, crazily enough, I didn't really share a lot of my experiences before we started recording this podcast. I did with friends, with like close friends of
Well,
mine,
yeah, with close
obviously.
friends who would believe you. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's also like if you're just telling it to parties or sometimes even like our parents or family members are just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Even something as simple as I'll never forget, this was like right before you moved or right before COVID or just a time where we didn't see each other as much. I remember one of our last things was your big like marquee light up sign
Mm. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
and it just switched off for no reason right in front of us and the loudest like bam, like the switch just like could not have been pressed harder. And I obviously was way more freaked out than you because you were sort of like, tale as old as time. But I was like, what? I was just so happy that you were next to me because I was like, that was nuts. But anyway, all that is to say, the validation just feels nice.
Yeah,
Like we saw
definitely.
this, we experienced it.
And I, as far as seeing ghosts, have very few experiences. I don't think a lot of my psi abilities, if you will, have to do with sight because I really don't see much. It's more of I hear a lot,
Yeah.
I experience a lot. Smells are big for me. And like I get impressions. Like I can really have a conversation with something that's there and really kind of get impressions of what they're trying to say or mean, which is really impactful. But like I don't really see a lot. And actually, recently we had an experience. Joe and I were watching some true crime, whatever, one of our
Of course.
we're watching our stories, and there was I don't remember the details, unfortunately, but the story we were watching was about a guy who was a serial killer who operated in Hollywood back in the day, back in like the 60s, and he lived near Paramount Studios, and he killed a couple women. He abducted women right outside Paramount Studios. Now, if you remember, I lived right next to Paramount Studios.
That's where she lived.
And I was like, oh my God, can you imagine if they showed this guy and it was fucking Ben? And I was like, oh my God, he lived in my apartment. But here's the thing, what was funny is they showed the guy and I was like, oh no, that's not him. And Joe was like,
No.
you're the weirdest person I've ever met in my life. And I was like, that's the one ghost that I have seen with my eyes, and that's not him. We can move on with our lives.
That is one of your rare sightings. It's honestly just so funny that you're like, oh no,
No,
not my guy, not my ghost.
not my ghost. Crazy town. But thank you, Anonymous. You definitely saw a ghost, and congratulations.
Creepy ass ghost.
Creepy. Sorry that had to be that extreme.
Yeah, that experience, my goodness.
Also, like, isn't it crazy to think about that, like, we used to attend public executions?
Yes, and that it was just like, well, Saturday, gotta get the kids up.
That guy's getting hung today if you want to
Do you want to?
swing by and check that out before we hit up brunch.
Yeah, right. Like, what? What?
What?
What's wrong with all of us? Okay, listener Kelsie.
Kelsie, what up?
Hey, Kelsie. Hello, Keep It Weird fam. I have a story that has bothered me for years, and I have only told it to maybe 2 friends, so I am very ready to tell the weirdo family.
Oh boy.
When I was around 9 years old, I used to see this silhouette shape, I guess you could call it, that sort of looked like a dog, but was stretched out and just looked wrong. Too long, too tall, completely black, like it had absorbed light instead of casting shadows. I don't know if this makes any sense, but that's what I was seeing. It would stand in my doorway at night from time to time.
Oh, sure.
Super casual. Not every night, but once every few months, I would see it. I never heard it. I never saw it move, but it would just be there watching. And then as soon as I would turn on a lamp, it would vanish. So I simply chalked it up to a trick of the eyes. But I also began to imagine that it was maybe a childhood imaginary friend. I had all of these thoughts go through. Fast forward to about a year ago. I'm 28 now. I was dog sitting for a friend, and one night I was getting up to use the bathroom, and when coming back down the hallway, something crossed in front of me. It was low to the ground, but it was long, and the way it moved, it felt almost like a liquid shadow. It was totally silent, but definitely moving. I froze, and the dog I was watching saw it too. He froze, he growled, and then he hid behind my legs and started to shake like crazy, which I had never witnessed before. I turned on every light in the house and of course didn't sleep for the rest of the night, texting my friend like crazy. She had no idea what I was talking about, had never seen anything like it. I don't know what it is or why I have seen it a few times in my life. It felt like even though what I was seeing as a child did not move, this was somehow the same thing. Almost 20 years apart, which makes it even crazier. It definitely was not imaginary, even though I had convinced myself over the years it was just a little childlike wonder, something in a dream. This was real. I know it was real. The dog saw it too, and this definitely was not a dog. Ew! I'm gonna cry.
The dog is with you now, Lauren. The dog's with you now.
For anyone who's listening to audio only,
Her light just went off.
my ring light just went off. This used to happen back in the day, remember?
Yeah, it used to go off all the time.
Oh my gosh, and it has not in years.
Ew.
And it was right when I was like, and it wasn't a dog. Like, a liquid dog is... Kelsie, I'm sorry.
Kelsie.
I did not want the end of the story to go that way, but your liquid dog is in the room with me. That fucking sucks.
Yeah, that sucks.
Not about me, about Kelsie. I'm like, that is a horrible thing to see. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you, and I didn't in my email back to her. I was literally just like, hey, girl.
Hey, girl, so sorry.
That's the worst thing anyone's ever said to me. You just had a hot dog demon staring at you for years, and then it decided to cross your path randomly as an adult. Like, excuse you.
Well, on the other hand, though, the dog hasn't seemed to do anything nefarious or negative.
I don't care. Don't be looking so creepy.
I'm just saying, dogs are usually guardians.
You are right. You're right.
They're there to, like, protect you, and I would say, like, sitting outside your door is definitely a place where it would be protecting you. Your doorway is where something could enter. It hasn't done anything to harm you. Maybe it's a good dog. Maybe you've got a guardian dog.
Nice little wiener dog, a little dachshund.
Long weenie dog?
I mean, and Kelsie, like, I was freaked out by it, obviously, but like has a good attitude about it.
Yeah.
So you're right, Ashley. It's not like she was harmed in any way. I think, and as Kelsie said, it's the 20 years apart thing where it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, look. But I asked, I was like, was this the first time you dog sat for your friend? And she was like, yes, I've known the dog for
Mm.
a long time. And like, this is one of my close friends, but this was the first time I was like alone. So I thought that was interesting, where it was
Yeah.
like, she's always thought, even though it's such a strange shape, it always reminded her of a dog. And then when she's with a dog overnight in, an unfamiliar house, that's when it appears. So I'm just sort of like, what's it? What's it trying to communicate?
What is it trying to tell you?
Or is like, you just have the soul of a dog.
Yeah, maybe you just have a good little guardian dog angel, stretchy, liquid, dark guardian dog angel, and he's there to protect you.
It's fine. It's normal.
It's normal. We all have
We
one.
all have those liquid dog angels. You know what I mean?
Well, that also reminded me.
Thank you, Kelsie.
Thank you so much, Kelsie. That also reminded me, though, of the story we did tell about the skitter in our live show, because that
I thought of that.
was also sort of a liquid, moved kind of weird. Thought it was a dog at first, but maybe it wasn't. Yeah. So interesting.
It was like swimming. I can't. Anyway.
Any hoozle. Thank you so much, Kelsie. I think you're okay. I think the dog seems to be protective of you. I would actually, I know there's only been really one experience in your adult life, but I would start really kind of marking down dates and locations of when you see it, because you might actually find a pattern, and then you can kind of determine like more of the reason behind the dog.
There you go. Ashley always has great advice.
Maybe. And maybe you're crazy, but we'll find that out too with time.
We're gonna learn.
We'll learn.
Kelsie. We'll see.
My next story is from Reddit user Reed Stellar with 2 3s for the E's. And honestly, maybe that's not how they pronounce the username, but here we are. It's too hard to say R33D Stellar. So we'll say Reed. And this is actually their father's story, but it involves them pretty directly. So it's a real family affair here.
Okay, we're ready.
Reed says, my dad tells me that when I was a little kid, around 4, I went to him and told him we needed to go visit Chile to see my grandpa, his father, because he was going to die that year. They had a really bad relationship, so he and my mom didn't really even talk about grandpa at home. So it was interesting that I would even bring up this information. And a few weeks later, my dad got the news from his sister. My grandpa had passed. My dad also tells me that about at the same age, one day, my mom was at the farmer's market close to our house, and I was in the living room with him while he watched TV, and I was on the floor playing. I suddenly turned to him, and I said, Mom is running from bad people, but it's okay because the store man pulled her inside so she could hide. My dad didn't think much of it until it started to take like a really long time for my mom to come back home from the store. Mom didn't have a cell phone or anything. This was the 90s in Brazil. So
Oh my gosh.
you just had to wait. So he waited at home with me until my mom finally arrived hours later, and she was shaken up because there had been a robbery gone wrong in the bank that was right in front of the farmer's market. And the robbers came out shooting, and everyone in the farmer's market started running and panicking because the robbers were running through the farmer's market now and shooting. And Mom ran, and a store employee pulled her inside his store before closing the doors. Other people from the farmer's market had taken shelter inside as well. My dad was freaked out. He always tells this story to say that that's when he actually started believing in the supernatural stuff, because he says, I just stared at him and described what was going on with my mom and then immediately went back to playing. I have no memory of either of these things.
Oh no.
Now, I gotta tell you, I very much so enjoyed reading this one because I'm currently smack dab in the middle of rereading Stephen King's The Shining, and if this isn't some Danny Torrance shit on display...
This feels very shining.
You got the shine, boy.
Got the shine.
Truly. I think it's so interesting that there's It seems to be that there's potentially a stage of development with children in which this ability just seems to be unlocked
Yeah,
for no apparent reason.
truly.
And I think future generations of human beings are going to discover so many cool things about consciousness once people start taking like parapsychology seriously and it gets the attention and funding it deserves. Too bad it's not going to happen in our lifetime, but I'm excited for the next batch of souls to experience it.
Good for the next generation. Yeah, next batch of souls.
Because this is not uncommon.
No, it's not. And I hope people do really like harness it and lean into it. Because, yeah, I mean, we're not doing it and maybe we're not as open to it, but I'm hoping that it'll keep happening.
Yeah, because children between 3 and 5, it's always like that age range.
I know. It's that time.
They say things, they know things that they shouldn't be able to know, and most people just seem to grow out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even remember it happening. But parents do. That's something parents can't forget.
It's something that they're traumatized with. I like honestly, I always joke. I'm like, I wish Wilder had been a creepier kid. Like now he's almost 7, so I'm like, he's kind of like,
He's aged out.
if it hasn't happened, like it's not gonna happen. But he did have night terrors,
Mhm.
and that is something that like also is so weird. And I know that's a totally different thing, but like that happened from ages like 3 to 5, like perfectly in that window, which is the same window of those other experiences
Yeah.
that kids get. And again, he doesn't remember them, but he would be saying the scariest things. Like, there's something in the corner of my room. It's flying towards me. It's trying to kill you, Mom. It's trying to take you away from me. Because I would be sitting there like, Wilder, I'm here. I'm here. I'm helping you. Like, hoping I was seeping into his brain in some way. But like, you can't do much, as we all know and we've talked about in this podcast. Like, you kind of just have to let them ride it out till it ends and hope they don't like physically get hurt. But I would be doing my best to be like, I'm here, Mom is here, like I'm helping you. And he would just be like, no, they're taking you away, like now you're on fire. And I was just like, I will never forget about those nights. Or he was screaming like, you're a demon, there's a demon on your shoulder, you're on fire. Like, man, that phase was rough. I'm so happy that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah,
Kids are scary.
Kids are scary, for sure. But and the thing is like night terrors are totally normal. Most kids have them, but at the same time, we don't understand them. We don't understand dreams yet. So anyone that can say definitively what a night terror, what is happening to kids when they're having a night terror, if they say like for sure it's this, they're lying to you. They could say I'm pretty sure it's ... But until we understand consciousness and dreams, we can't definitively say that kids aren't actually experiencing some pretty crazy psychic abilities.
Like slipping into something. Yeah.
They're able to see another dimension.
That is how it always felt with Wilder, but I would just have to like talk myself out of it. But I was like, I don't love this.
I don't love it. Well, I actually, speaking of Danny Torrance, I have one quick little tiny story I'm going to tell right in a row, because my next story comes in from Reddit user just-another-gringo, and they have a little brother that had a very interesting imaginary friend.
Okay, well, great.
Just Another Gringo says, growing up in Topeka, Kansas, my little brother had an imaginary friend named Jonakin. Jonakin is how we would spell it. Jonakin was his name. I remember vividly that my brother would get into trouble all the time for playing in the creek, a creek called Soldier's Creek that was behind our house, and he always blamed it on Jonakin, saying that Jonakin had asked my brother to go swimming with him, and that's why he was playing in the creek. And my parents, of course, were insistent Jonakin wasn't real, and eventually my brother quit seeing him. So, no harm, no foul. But about 5 or 6 years later, I was taking a journalism class in high school, and we were taking a field trip to the local newspaper, the Topeka Capital Journal. We were given an assignment to search the archives of newspapers to find an article that was relevant to us personally. I searched my family name, but nothing really came up, so then I searched my address, and I found an article about a boy that had died in Soldier's Creek, right near 29th and Girard, where my house was located.
No.
And that boy's name was Jonathan Atkins. Jonakin.
No. I thought you were about to say, and that boy's name was Jonathan. And I was like, no, it
No,
fucking
it
wasn't,
That's not
Ashley,
a
because
name.
guess what? That's not a name. Okay, but now that makes sense. It is the combo.
Holy fucking cannoli. Are you kidding me?
I hate that. I hate that. Love it
Hate that.
and hate
I mean,
it.
yeah, I love it. I love it. I love that it happened and you have that experience and now we get to tell it and we get to be creeped out. But boy, oh boy.
Okay, so good old Jonathan really was like
It really was.
fucking things up in the crick.
Playing in the creek.
Also, that would feel so, I mean, creepy, but validating.
Validating.
Like, see, I told you it was Jonathan. Y'all grounded me.
Y'all were mad at me for playing in the creek, and I told you Jonathan was telling me to play in the creek. What was I supposed to do?
You said we had to. What do you want? And they were like, Jonathan's not a name, and you're lying.
But also, Jonathan, as a ghost, what's your fucking deal?
Yeah, what you doing? Just trying to get people in trouble?
Or trying to get people to also die in the creek?
You seem a little rude.
Seems rude.
You seem a little rude, Jonathan.
Yeah, I would throw that in my parents' face every day for the rest of my life, probably.
If they ever gave me attitude, I would be like, Jonathan.
Yeah, if they were ever like, I don't know if you're right about that, I'd be like, oh, really? How about I'm right about everything, Jonathan? But thank you so much, Just Another Gringo. And also, Reed, Stellar, thank you so much. Those stories are absolutely bonkers bananas. Can't believe they exist.
1000%. Okay. This is from a listener who wanted to be known only as D. They said, hi, Lauren and Ashley. I have been listening since 2019.
Hell yeah.
And I am finally working up the courage to share this story. I have always wondered if it was paranormal, alien, dimensional, whatever. No idea, but here goes. And probably we won't really have an idea either, but you're on the right track. When I was in college, I lived in a small off-campus apartment with 2 roommates. And one night around 2 a.m., I woke up because my room was feeling too bright, like somebody had turned on a light. But there was no light on. I know that sounds insane. The light wasn't warm. It was this cold bluish glow. But then when I opened my eyes, even though I could feel the light, even with my eyes closed, there was nothing there. However, one of the times I opened my eyes after feeling that bluish glow, I see a figure standing in the corner of my room. Tall, human-shaped, but seemed a bit staticky, like a fuzzy screen on a TV. I could see through it almost, but it was also so clear to me at the same time, and even made a slight crackling sound. I was frozen, but not in a sleep paralysis way, which I had experienced before. I could move my hands and my legs, but I could not make myself sit up. I could not make myself move in any way that I wanted to. Then the figure slightly tilts its head, and then the bluish glow finally shows up, right around it. The room is slowly brightening. My ears start to ring. The air feels heavy, almost pressurized, and now I really am completely paralyzed. Then, in an instant, it all disappears. The figure is gone, the light is gone, the ringing has stopped, I can move my body. It's like nothing had happened. I am, of course, still sitting in complete and utter shock. I'm paralyzed in a different way now. Mostly, I just don't know what to do with what I've experienced, but I finally am able to get my bearings and just say, maybe that was a dream. Maybe that was a night terror. 2 minutes later, my phone, which had been charging on the nightstand all night, restarted itself. Like the little Apple symbol popped up like it had lost power, but the charger was still completely plugged in, power was on, but my phone was only at 2%. The next morning, I asked my roommates if they had had any weird power issues in the night. As I say, I experienced something kind of weird with my charger and heard a ringing sound. Just want to hear if you had anything happen. My roommate says, my lights were flickering before I went to bed. I went to bed around 1:30 a.m., but I just chalked it up to, the electricity in our old building, like, going off. The other roommate said my fan was buzzing so loudly for like a half hour last night. I didn't look at the clock to see what time it was, but it was buzzing so loudly and then just totally stopped and worked as normal after that. My roommates and I never saw anything again, but sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night, I swear I smell this hot metallic scent, sort of like I had that night, the one that electronics would give off right before they blow. I don't know what I saw, I don't know what I experienced, but I really don't think it was a dream, especially after hearing that my roommates, even in a more subtle sense, had some electricity issues as well. Thank you for reading this, and thank you for making all of the spooky things in our lives feel a little less lonely. Absolutely love the pod. D.
D, you had an interdimensional being pop into your room.
Okay, so Ashley is going for the interdimensional. That was one of the theories.
I mean, here's the thing. What it seems to me is that, like, whatever this thing was trying to manifest itself was pulling energy from other things in the apartment in order to manifest itself. Like, it was pulling all kinds of energy around, especially like the staticky and the crackly and the smell and like the lights
Yep.
in your roommate's room. Like, to me, that's what it seemed like it was doing. And I think that, I mean, there's only theories, obviously, but that's a theory about ghosts as well, that they attempt to pull energy from things that already have energy flowing through it to manifest themselves, which is why the air gets cold. It's why the lights will flicker. It's why, et cetera, et cetera. But man, this thing seems like it was pretty strong.
Yeah, definitely strong in your room. I'm sorry to say, D, which like we emailed just one more time back and forth, and that was the same thing. It was like, oh yeah, my roommates were like validating and understanding. They were good friends and, wanted to hear the story. And we're like, hey, yeah, like we did experience electricity issues, but we're still at the same time kind of like, I don't know, ours was so subtle.
Yeah. Thank God we weren't in your room.
Yes, but then D, it was like, no, there was like a buzzing, there was a figure,
There was a guy.
whole thing. There was a guy.
There was a guy.
But it is just weird that like easily they both could have been like, oh, I don't know, like the light might have flickered once, but they were both very much.
To be like, no, yeah, something weird was happening in my room last night.
I did think it was weird. My lights were flickering, and like it was like I got home late, and it was probably close to 2 a.m. The other roommate, like, my fan has never buzzed like that ever in my life. I don't know what time it was, but like that definitely happened.
Well, and also knowing that as someone who's experienced sleep paralysis several times and hasn't in years, thank God. Yeah, you can't move a muscle. You can't, there's no moving your hands, there's no moving your legs, there's no even controlling your eyeballs in your head. So
Right. And that's why I think they wanted to point out like this was different.
no, I could move my body. I just couldn't get myself to sit up. And here's the thing, there is such thing as being frozen in fear. So it may not even have been something that was like affecting you and making you paralyzed as much as your body would have been like, don't you fucking move.
Just
Don't move.
anywhere near this thing. I know. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Damn.
Thank you, D.
Yeah, thank you, D. Holy shit. God, the smell too bothers me. Anyways, okay.
I know.
My final story today was sent in by a new listener who would like to remain anonymous. She said we can call her Annie because it sounds like it would be the shortened version of the name Anonymous, and I truly love the way you think, Annie.
I love that.
Annie says, I have a brother who's 8 years older than me. My mom used to talk about a creepy, grinning version of my brother that she and a babysitter saw when he was little. It seemed to age with him. My mom saw him multiple times. The babysitter saw him once and freaked the fuck out. I saw him when I was in high school. My brother worked multiple jobs and was gone a lot, and to help him out and to make some extra cash, I would clean his room and do his laundry for him each week. I would usually stay up late Saturday nights and watch Mad TV and SNL while folding his laundry. I started feeling like I was being watched, but my brother was at work. Everyone else was asleep. When I turned to look, there was my brother, peeking around the wall of the hallway at me with a super creepy grin on his face. All I could see were his hands holding onto the wall and his head sticking out around the corner, but that grin was freaky. I instantly thought my brother was messing with me, so I said something along the lines of like, ugh, fuck off, and looked back to the TV.
As you should.
That's how we should react to all of these things.
Yes.
Then I remembered he wasn't even home. And the hairs on my arms stood straight up, and I looked back, and he was gone. The next morning, I told my mom what I had seen, and she just nodded in understanding.
Don't nod in understanding.
Don't nod in understanding.
How dare you?
I need more than that. Yeah, eventually the family stopped seeing this grinning doppelganger, and it never did anything. It just grinned at them, but
That's worse.
gosh darn it, I'd lose my ding dang darn mind if that happened to me.
That's mother trucking worse.
Worse.
Grim grinning ghosts. We don't want
Grim grinning ghosts.
grim grinning ghosts. I want to fuck you up. I want to kill you. Don't just stand and grin. And mom, don't just nod understandingly, like, yeah, I see that grin guy.
Listen, we've all seen him.
I'm upset.
Doppelgangers are so fascinating to me. I know we've talked about them on the show before, but just in case this is your first episode, doppelganger is a German word that means double goer. These spirits have also been referred to as fetches, doubles, and wraiths throughout the span of history, and the mythology surrounding them has been written and painted about for thousands of years. This is not a new phenomenon by any means. And in general, they're usually considered omens of bad luck or maybe signs of impending death, but that hasn't really been the case with any personal stories I have ever heard about people seeing their own doppelgangers or seeing doppelgangers of other people. Sometimes people will see their own doppelganger, which I think is, that would fuck me up.
That would ruin me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, if I saw myself, I'd be like, nope.
No.
Sometimes they see their doppelganger as much older or much younger than they are at the time they see them, which I think is super fascinating. Sometimes there's just something off about them, whether it's the big creepy grin or strange movements, or sometimes even a twitchy or glitching aspect to the doppelganger. But really, despite having thousands of years of experiences with this type of phenomenon, no one really knows why it happens or what the hell it means.
See, and I don't like that because I know we have a lot of things that we can't explain. I mean, literally everything we've talked about in this episode, but I also feel like at least there's decent theories for a lot of the experiences we talk about. Of course, nothing is 100% certain, but the theories do at least seem so plausible, and like we're getting to the point where enough things have happened and it's sort of like, okay, yes, like it's probably this. But when it comes to doppelgangers, that is a crazy thing where everyone's just sort of like,
I don't know.
And if you fucking saw yourself, that's the thing is like, I feel like I find those stories on Reddit all the time and I don't even end up bringing them to the show because they honestly make me want to cry. But it's like, it's the people seeing themselves where it's like, I literally like saw myself doing something I've never done before, like in this weird environment, and then like just never saw it again. But like I was fully awake and it was the middle of the day, and I'm like, no, you didn't. And I want to scream, but then all the comments underneath are like, yep,
been there. You know, I am a firm believer in like the fact that a lot of times when you see a ghost, they're not actually a dead person. Like maybe they're dead because they're not alive right now, but like when you see them, they're not dead. You just see them.
You're seeing them in a different timeline or another dimension in a different way.
And we've talked about this before with like Amy Goldenberg, because Amy Goldenberg had told me a story before about how she sensed an energy in the room and she looked at it, and the more she looked at it, the more she realized it was actually her from yesterday. And so like that kind of thing is crazy, but here's the thing, like there's a difference in like seeing yourself in your house, like going about your day and being like, holy shit, I just saw myself from yesterday, that's crazy, and something specifically grinning at you.
Yes, that's the thing.
What are we talking about here? Like a smile scenario? What's
That's
going
what I was
on?
just gonna say, because like, of course, that would be weird to see yourself, but like, if you're just like in your house, like doing the dishes or reading a book, and you're like, oh, I did that yesterday, like I'm seeing that past moment. But that's what I like. The doppelganger stories are never that. It's like this thing was just smiling at me and doing something like off, like it was just off.
A part of me thinks it's actually something psychological or psionic, like it's a projection of your consciousness. So, like an emotional or psychological trigger that creates almost a hologram of yourself. And what's interesting is that some locations that are hotspots for paranormal activity also seem to produce more doppelgangers, because I remember one time there was this doppelganger story about a group of coworkers at a dog kennel who experienced a lot of strange stuff at work, but specifically would always see each other, hear each other's voices, either from the other room or even on their walkie-talkies. Sometimes they would have full back and forth conversations with each other, only to find that the other coworker actually wasn't ever talking to them, or sometimes find that they weren't even at work yet. So I do feel like it could be a combination of like a mental projection, but also like wherever you are.
I just hate that idea of like yourself existing outside of yourself. It's so scary. It reminds me of the movie
Yep.
Smile too.
Totally. Tough stuff. Tough stuff.
I'm gonna be fine. It's gonna be...
Thank you, Annie.
Thanks, Annie.
I hope you never see your brother's doppelganger again. That's all the time we have this week for Keep It Weird. We hope we chilled you to the bone. We hope your cockles were raised, as they say. Can a person's cockles be raised or only a dog's? Doesn't matter.
Who says that?
Thank you so much for listening, as usual. Thank you, everyone who sent in stories or allowed us to tell your stories on another edition of Real Life Scary Stories, aka Listener Ghost Stories, aka our favorite episodes. We're officially wrapping up our Halloween season today.
Finally.
Halloween's over, okay? Merry Christmas. It's time. We hope you guys have a really great Thanksgiving, though. My gosh, we hope you had a great Thanksgiving. We hope that your families
kept it together.
Kept it fucking together.
I know it can be complicated. Hopefully it was good.
And if they didn't, it's over. And you just have to see them one more time for Christmas, and then we get a nice long break from family problems and events coming up in the worst months of the year, maybe January and February. Do you think maybe worst months of the year?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely January.
Not much going on. The Christmas cheer is gone.
And January feels eternal. Like the year flies by, but January is a whole year in itself, where I'm like, it's only January 6th. I've lived 1,000 lives and none were good.
Yeah, and we have a guest on the next 2 episodes, so we should probably tell you now. We don't know. We are definitely going to be taking a hiatus, and I know we usually do in like January, February, but I don't know how long it's going to last because I'm going to be living with my parents again. And that probably sounds really sad and scary, like Joe and I got a divorce or something. Joe's also going to be living with my parents. We are moving
together to the parents' house.
So we'll be back with you as soon as we can.
And we'll still
how it goes.
Release bonus content as much as
bonus
we can.
Content, yeah. Bonus content will be as usual. So if you miss us, join our Patreon, www.patreon.com/keepitweirdpodcast. Follow us on social media at keepitweirdcast. Although I was just telling Lauren before we started, I have to get off the internet because AI videos are ruining my life.
They're tricking us.
They're tricking us, and I can't handle it anymore. So who knows how long we'll be on the internet moving forward. But the show ends because we can't be on the internet anymore. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/keepitweirdpodcast. Please. We've been doing videos for the last 2 years. They're really good and funny and great. All right, let's spin the wheel. I really, really, really want to get bibliomancy tonight, but I know that...
Oh my God. I literally was thinking that right before we logged on. I was like, I hope we get bibliomancy on Spin the Wheel. I really want it.
I have a question that I need answered. I want bibliomancy, but we do let fate decide.
But also, I do kind of want to go against it. Can we do bibliomancy? Who cares?
Okay, fine. Fuck it. Sorry.
It's the end of the year.
It is the end of the year, and guess what, fate? We're not listening to you anymore.
And also, if any of you listeners, like, have a complaint, like, I'll still love you forever. It sounded like I was about to threaten you.
Submit the complaint to our email, keepitweirdpodcast@gmail.com.
Leave a voicemail on our phone.
Leave a voicemail on our phone complaining.
Anymore.
Okay. Bibliomancy it is. I have a really important question that I would like to ask.
I have to know.
Acid Book, please tell us. Did Donald Trump suck Bill Clinton's dick?
Bubba.
Did he though?
Did he?
Did he suck his dick? We have to know. And today we're going to find out. Acid Book, did Donald Trump suck Bill Clinton's dick? Do you want to pick a page? Do you want me to just turn?
Just turn. Especially because you have a heart for this question in a way I wasn't ready.
Turn.
Oh, no.
Okay.
What? Though, is it not making sense after all of that?
Well, there's just a lot. The first thing I see, okay, because I asked, did Donald Trump suck Bill Clinton's dick? And the first thing I see is a chair, which I think is funny, with 2 feet.
I mean, you'd be sitting in that position, you know what I mean? Probably.
The first thing I read was, he was right here laughing and being here all the time.
So I'm going to say yes.
So I'm going to say, yeah, it did happen. There's a bunch of other stuff here. Okay, I'm just going to read it. We'll see if it means anything, because there's a lot of other stuff. But like, the first thing I saw was he was right here laughing and being here all the time, which makes me think he's a fucking creep. And the chair with the feet, like, okay. I spent all last winter and the year before at the temple just making love to Maharaji in every way, being opened wider. Being opened wider, and was just so awed by the pure love. Everywhere I turned, there it was, and no place for it, because I only saw the man in the flesh, probably 8 times. It's amazing and all, but 2 times for no more than half an hour, maybe an hour at most. So, like, it's a bunch of nonsense, but I just can't help but saying yes. Donald Trump did suck the dick of Bill Clinton.
So it absolutely happened, and it happened a few times.
And it happened a few times, sometimes for half an hour, sometimes for an hour. Holy crap.
I think it's saying 1000% yes.
Thank you, Acid Book.
Acid Book provided.
That question's been burning a hole in my brain for about a fucking week, and I knew the Acid Book would provide.
That's good stuff.
Thank you, Acid Book.
That is really good stuff. And it was like all the people around me who like understand, and I'm like everybody on Epstein Island, you know what I mean? Like,
all the people around me, we all got to listen. Did it probably happen? I don't know. Maybe it didn't. Am I gonna just, as a treat to myself,
spread the rumor?
Imagine that it absolutely happened and also spread the rumor and not stop talking about it? Yes.
For sure.
Yes, I am. And I encourage you guys to do the same. And also, as usual, keep it weird,
Bubba.
Bubba.